Good morning, Old Bridge residents. This is Brooke Richards-Patterson, candidate for Board of Education, #1 on the ballot. I got a few messages very recently about my reels and my recaps, and I guess I just didn't realize that people appreciate them. I was more or less trying to humanize myself because there's always like the same 12 people that don't know me, never speak to me, aren't nice to me, and don't produce anything positive into the community, speaking very negative things into the universe about me that simply aren't true. They just simply aren't true. So that's where I got started, and then it just kind of morphed from there. So we had a little break over the summer. We really didn't have much to go over, and I appreciate those people that mention the reels. They're usually recaps to our meetings. We had an agenda meeting that will be piggybacked with the full meeting next week, and you would think that the agenda meeting there really wouldn't be much to report on. However, it opened up with a conversation about how there's going to be several iPads that were to be donated anonymously to our preschool program. And one of our Board of Ed members continued to push this narrative that it could be a bad person, and why don't we know about it, and why don't we know who the person is. I think everybody had like this just baffled look on their face, not understanding. And one of the members did question, like, do you mean because you want to make sure the iPads are safe, like they're being vetted with our IT department and making sure there's nothing graphic or inappropriate, or God forbid a virus, or something unsafe? And no, that wasn't it. And then it turned out it was an amount, it was a check, and the understanding was that check was going to be used to purchase them, so they would actually be brand new iPads. And this conversation still went on about how this person might be a bad person. What is bad about receiving a $5,000 donation to our schools, especially when we can really use the money right now? I don't understand it. I don't think anybody on the board did, except the president, I guess. She seemed to resonate. I don't get it. I don't understand this dialogue, and why there always has to be some form of drama or insinuation that people have bad intentions. I don't see why anybody should be framed in that light that's just trying to bring good, especially volunteers that don't owe anybody anything. And if a person is in the position that can make that kind of donation without needing vanity or bringing their political grandstand to the meetings as a form to campaign, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I appreciate whoever that was. I did speak on it in the public comments and said thank you, which other people did. I don't even know if that gentleman even mentioned like a thank you for that gift. So thank you to whoever that was. That's very generous and kind. And I've been talking to Mr. Wydell about how to go about some similar things. So people are allowed to make donations and they don't have to tell you who they are. Well, our interim superintendent, Dr. Bregan, did show up for this meeting. He was phasing out of the previous job that he was at, and this was his first time. I believe I was the first one to wish him like an official welcoming, and make kind of a big deal that he was officially there. Seems like a really great gentleman. He has an excellent reputation. I mean, there's people that worked in Homedale that are like, you guys better keep him. And these are employees that worked for him in that school district. So that is incredible to hear. His resume is so impressive. I don't understand how any Board of Ed member could have admitted that they didn't agree with hiring this man. We'll see. So there's two opportunities to meet with him too. One is going to be on September 12th, and I believe the other one's the 16th, but I did post it on my pages, and I'm definitely going to make an effort to interact with him a little bit. I want to talk to him about some things I've been working on in the background that I haven't been posting publicly. I don't do it for validation. I do it because it's something that matters to me, and there's things that I'm doing that I'm passionate about that aren't just for campaigning. It's simply because I care very much about the community. So I'm excited to meet with him and to talk with him face to face. I suggest you do too. I am going to ask him if he will make time to do like an after work one. These are valid things that people have asked, but I also think it's been part of his transition and he's already been putting a lot of time in. I'm sure he is going to make the effort. Next was that SEPTA, our special education PTA, requested no longer to have an individual liaison and that it be the entire board. This is because CPAG had requested a liaison, which is the Special Education Advocacy Group, which is state required, and SEPTA just ended up with one. They didn't request one, and it's campaign season, and they don't want to be used as a platform or a pawn to brag about being a liaison for. It's best to be neutral and not be biased and be professional and have the entire board involved. I think that's incredible. I admire that group so much, and I hope that they stay. I always tell them, I hope you stay until you're old and gray, because they are just the model for how to be neutral, unbiased, professional, kind, giving, and motivating, amazing moms. I mean, forget it. And they're just so empowering. And I wish that every group was like this. So I don't understand why candidates night was suggested to be moved to the special needs curriculum meeting, which is October 7th. I wasn't made privy to that, nor were the other candidates. It was just a move that was made in the background without consenting with the rest of us. I did express that I'm not okay with this. And I read on social media, afterwards, after the meeting, that SEPTA was also pretty upset over this too. So we'll see what's going to happen there. I did discuss this now in the background with the people running candidates night, because I'm not sure, depending on who's operating it this year, if I'm even going to attend. Last year was not a good experience, and that'll be something I go over at a different time. But I don't stand by their narrative that we're going to give voters more time to view this function. They can either attend or they can watch it on YouTube. And there's plenty of opportunities and ways to get to know the candidates. Most of us speak at the meetings. We go out in the public. 2 of us ran last year. 3 of us already have been on the board. So I really don't see any validity to trumping the committee meeting for special services over candidates night. So I did tell them that if anything, don't push back the special needs one, move it up. So we'll see what happens. I haven't checked my email yet this morning. We'll see. But I have at least spoken my piece on it, because I didn't think that was right to move quietly and behind everybody's backs and ask for special services to be pushed back for candidates night. It's not a political platform opportunity for me. People have already gotten to know me over the past year, and I shouldn't be a political platform for anybody, nor should the Board of Ed meetings, by the way. I just wanted to point that out, because I noticed that recently. Then it jumped into, we weren't going to talk about SEPTA at all during the committee time, and that I don't understand either. That I don't understand. Our vice president piped in and said we should be speaking about it, and it turned into a disagreement, which is also something I commonly see with the same Board of Ed member. Constantly fighting, disagreeing, just combative with some of the Board of Ed members. So that is my recap. I hope that there is no more drama. This is a big reason why I'm running for Board of Ed, is to try to eliminate some of this and inspire people to be professional, respectful, and still advocate. You can be assertive without being disrespectful. So that's my TED Talk. It was a brief meeting, and I will follow up soon when I have more news. Have a great day.
Okay. Hi, my name's Brooke Richards-Patterson. I just was following along to the meeting. First of all, first and foremost, I want to welcome Dr. Brigham. Congratulations on the position, and we'll see what happens come October. I guess we'll know what the outcome's going to be, but I'm definitely going to come to one of your sessions either this week or next week, and I look forward to getting to know you. Everybody's been speaking very highly of you so far, so welcome. I just had a couple things I wanted to just ask about for when the comments are over, and certainly thank you for whoever the anonymous person is that donated to the preschool. That's pretty awesome too. I wanted to ask about the meeting minutes that are missing on the district website since March. I know I spoke to Mr. Whitell briefly, and there's no really turnaround time, but I just wanted to know if there's going to implement a turnaround time for those on the district website. And then Dr. Toohey has been awesome with making sure there's notes at the committee meetings. I would like to, revisit the conversation that Matt brought up once, Mr. Solkowski, about getting a camera back in that conference room for parents that can't make those meetings, because they're amazing. And I've only noticed so far that I can locate the most recent committee meeting notes on the district website, but it's not always the most user-friendly, so maybe it's me. If you could guide me to where, a couple of them have been. I mean, I know it's not a lot, but it's been a couple of them that you've been doing the notes and posting them on the front page, but I can't find, the ones prior. It seems to be the most recent ones that I can locate, but again, it might be me. So that's really it. That's what I wanted to ask about, was just the turnaround. When can we expect agenda and Board of Ed meeting notes on the district website about the committee meetings, and possibly camera in there, not back and forth, not Zooms and stuff, just to watch. And then I also wanted to know about the planetarium, since there was talk about that and where we are, or are we waiting until October when all the redistricting stuff is touched on? Thank you.
Have we posted committee reports online? I thought the committee reports were given at meetings. I didn't realize we were, you might have posted your own personal, but was that a practice of the board to do committee notes? I think
that was only in May and June. So there were, anecdotal, unofficial notes that were taken as part of, public concern about what was going on in the meetings. So the May and June ones were on there, but everything else beyond that, prior to that, was not. So we also didn't have a ton of meetings in June. It was busy with other activities. So I can't tell you how many meetings that they were, and I can't say every person was taking notes as expeditiously as I was in those meetings. So